A top currency analyst warned last week that de-dollarization is happening faster than people realize. Indeed, that the dollar has already suffered a, quote, stunning collapse. Meanwhile, separate data from central banks around the world confirm that after decades of complacency, the landscape is shifting. The warning came from former Morgan Stanley analyst Stephen Jen, who finds that adjusting for price changes reveals the true speed of de-dollarization, specifically that the dollar's share went from 73% in 2001 to 55% in 2021, at which point it fell off a cliff, losing market share 10 times faster. The dollar plunged 8 percentage points in share in a single year to just 47%. So we lost about double the entire share of the Chinese yuan, and at that pace, the US dollar would be eclipsed in, about 6 years. So what happened in 2022? Simple. Sanctions. Last year, the U.S. froze $300 billion in Russian central bank dollars. That's about $4 trillion in U.S. terms, controlling for GDP. Keep in mind, these were Russia's sovereign dollars. They, and everybody else in the world, thought of them like gold. Now, this was something we hadn't even done during the Cold War, during the height of the Cold War, with hot proxy wars all over the world, because we were run by adults. Why did Biden do it? The goal was to cause bank panics and crash the Russian economy, perhaps to set off mass unemployment and civil unrest. Of course, it backfired. Instead, sending countries around the world in panicked flight from the dollar, lest the U.S. wake up one morning after a spicy night on the town with some flashy new lobbyist and decide to collapse their country too. Perhaps ending in their president being torn into travel-sized pieces by a mob, like in Libya. Of course, it was one thing to do this to Libya, but here was a real country, and the weapon of choice was very precisely their own sovereign dollars. And so, overnight, the US dollar went from the world's rock-solid store of value to a political football held hostage to whichever lobbyist or activist caught Joe Biden's eye this week. So what is next? If reserve assets are fleeing the dollar, while trade is methodically shifting to bilateral currencies, helped by China, the last man standing on the dollar wall is financial flows, the lubricant in global commerce. These have unique network effects, but they also have unique and growing regulatory risks, which I will have to cover in another video. So bottom line, if the US dollar does continue on this path, we will see soaring inflation, a catastrophic fall in American standard of living, and a US that falls off the world stage, not by choice, but by necessity. All of it, 100%, our own making.